When World War II began, Nazi Germany shocked the world with a series of lightning-fast victories. From Poland to France, from the Balkans to the gates of Moscow, Hitler's armies seemed unstoppable. But what were the greatest victories of the Third Reich? And what price did the world pay for them? In the early morning of September 1st, 1939, the German army launched a massive invasion of Poland. With more than 1.5 million soldiers, thousands of tanks, and overwhelming air support, this was the beginning of a new kind of war, Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War. But this invasion did not come out of nowhere. In March 1938, Austria was annexed in the so-called Anschluss. Later that year, the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia was seized after the Munich Agreement, and by March 1939, the rest of Czechoslovakia was occupied. After these bloodless victories, Hitler now turned his eyes to Polish territory, demanding areas with large German-speaking populations. Poland, however, refused to surrender, backed by guarantees from Britain and France. To avoid isolation, Hitler made a shocking move: the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact with Stalin. What made it extraordinary was that Nazi Germany, a fascist state, and the Soviet Union, a communist state, were sworn ideological enemies. Yet, for political and military advantage, they agreed to work together. In secret, they planned to divide Poland between them, ensuring that if war came, Germany would not stand alone. Poland fought bravely, but its army was outmatched. The Luftwaffe destroyed communication lines, railways, and even civilian targets. German tanks bypassed strong defenses and encircled entire divisions in days. By mid-September, Warsaw was surrounded. The final blow came when the Soviet Union invaded from the east on September 17th. Outnumbered and trapped, the Polish government fled into exile. In just over a month, Poland was crushed. The world was shocked, but Britain and France, despite declaring war, could not directly help. The invasion of Poland was Nazi Germany's first great victory, but it also lit the fuse of the most destructive war in human history. After the swift conquest of Poland in September 1939, Britain and France declared war on Germany. For months, little fighting occurred on the Western Front, a period called the Phony War. But in the spring of 1940, Hitler turned west. France was considered one of the strongest powers in Europe, supported by Britain. Yet in just 6 weeks, the Third Reich would achieve one of the most stunning victories in modern history. On May 10, 1940, the Germans launched their offensive. While the Allies expected a repeat of World War I through Belgium, German armored divisions secretly advanced through the Ardennes forest, a region the French believed impassable for tanks. The Blitzkrieg struck with speed and precision. Panzer divisions broke through at Sedan, raced toward the Channel, and cut off the British Expeditionary Force and French armies in Belgium. The Allies were trapped at Dunkirk. In late May, the famous evacuation, Operation Dynamo, began. More than 300,000 British and French soldiers were rescued across the Channel. Hitler allowed this escape, hoping it might persuade Britain to seek peace so that Germany could later focus on its ideological enemy, the Soviet Union. But historians widely regard this decision as one of Hitler's first great mistakes. By June 14th, German troops entered Paris without facing major resistance. Just 8 days later, on June 22nd, France signed an armistice. A nation that had resisted Germany for 4 years in World War I collapsed in little more than a month. The fall of France shocked the world and gave Hitler immense confidence. It was Nazi Germany's greatest victory up to that point, proof, many believed, that the Blitzkrieg was unstoppable. After securing Libya, German General Erwin Rommel, known as the Desert Fox, launched a daring advance toward Egypt in 1940-1941. His goal was to threaten the Suez Canal and disrupt British control of the Middle East. Rommel's Afrika Korps moved rapidly across the desert, using tanks, artillery, and mobile infantry to outmaneuver slower British forces. The Axis forces captured key towns and strategic positions in eastern Libya, pushing the British back toward the Egyptian border. Rommel advanced up to 50 kilometers per day, surprising British forces. The North African campaign was strategically vital. By controlling Libya and Egypt, Germany threatened the Suez Canal, a key supply route for Britain and access to Middle Eastern oil. Naval forces played a crucial role in securing supply lines, transporting troops, and supporting operations. Control of the seas could disrupt Allied logistics and break their resistance, making the campaign a decisive battleground in the Mediterranean. In the spring of 1941, Hitler turned his attention to the Balkans. Italy had already invaded Greece in late 1940, but Mussolini's forces quickly became bogged down, forcing Germany to intervene. On April 6th, German forces launched simultaneous invasions of Yugoslavia and Greece. Blitzkrieg once again proved devastating. In just 11 days, Yugoslavia collapsed, its capital Belgrade falling after heavy bombing. In Greece, German troops swept southward, defeating Allied forces, including British and Commonwealth divisions sent to help. By the end of April, Athens was in German hands. The final stage came in May, with the Battle of Crete. German paratroopers launched the first major airborne invasion in history. Despite suffering heavy losses, they captured the island, securing Germany's control over southeastern Europe. The Balkan victories gave Hitler confidence for the next and greatest gamble, the invasion of the Soviet Union. On June 22, 1941, Hitler launched the largest invasion in history, Operation Barbarossa. More than 3 million German soldiers, supported by hundreds of thousands of Axis allies, stormed into the Soviet Union along a front stretching over 2,900 kilometers. The Blitzkrieg struck with unprecedented scale. The Luftwaffe destroyed much of the Soviet Air Force on the ground in the first days. Panzer divisions encircled vast Soviet armies in colossal battles like Minsk, Smolensk, and Kiev. Entire Soviet fronts collapsed and millions of soldiers were captured. By autumn, German forces had advanced hundreds of kilometers, reaching the gates of Moscow. The Soviet Union seemed on the brink of total collapse. Hitler believed victory was near, that the Red Army would soon be finished. Yet the speed of success hid fatal flaws: stretched supply lines, harsh weather, and the resilience of the Soviet people. By December, the German advance stalled. Still, the first months of Barbarossa marked one of Nazi Germany's most devastating and shocking victories, a triumph that made the world fear the Reich was unstoppable. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts. Which of these victories do you think had the greatest impact on the war's outcome?